I got it.
Who's got the button?
Yeah, I see it now. It says recording.
Okay.
Too close to camera.
Okay, guys, welcome to the Rotary Club of Kerrville. We're so glad to have you here. It's always so exciting to see your faces, even if they're only this big, but it's fun to see you all. I want to remind you to mute your cell phones, to mute your screen, your Zoom screen while we're having the program, and to also check in on Facebook and let everybody know that you're attending your Rotary Club meeting. I also would like to ask Alan Massey to lead us in the invocation.
Please join me in the prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we are thankful for this day that you have given us, for its blessings, its opportunities, its challenges. May we appreciate and use each day wisely that comes to us. We pray for strength and guidance, and may we be challenged to give our best always and to serve others. Father, please watch over and protect our first responders, healthcare providers, and members of the military as they watch over us. Please bless this food as nourishment for our bodies. Amen.
Amen. Now, if you will join me in the four-way test. In the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Let me stop that. Okay. And now we are going to hear a very exciting program from Dr. G with the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center, who is going to tell us about what they do, their needs, how we can help. As you know, we started, I added to our initiatives quarterly blood drives this year in honor of my mom. I can tell you that she had liver cancer and needed blood transfusions and platelets almost on a weekly basis. So firsthand experience, I can tell you how important that service is. So our very first blood drive is September 29th. I've sent out the links, and I can tell you that we already have 4 appointments, so yay. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about Dr. G. Dr. Gomez is the Associate Medical Director at BioRidge Global. She is responsible for the medical oversight of South Texas Blood and Tissue Center. She has been with BioRidge Global for almost 5 years. Before her position with BioRidge Global, she completed a transfusion medicine fellowship and pathology residency. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. G.
All right, thank you for the introduction. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. Share. Okay, open presentation mode. Okay, so I'll be discussing convalescent plasma. I'm really excited to be hear about your blood drive later on this month, but I'll be focusing on the presentation on convalescent plasma collection. And I'll leave a lot of time at the end for questions. So first off, what is convalescent plasma? So plasma is the liquid part of your blood. So when someone has an infection like COVID-19, the body produces antibodies to help fight it. So at South Texas Blood and Tissue Center, we're able to collect the plasma from recovered donors so it can be transfused into hospitalized patients. And convalescent plasma in the past has been used as a bridge to other treatment or a vaccine. So we are currently recruiting donors to donate convalescent plasma to help pass along those antibodies to severely ill patients. So as part of the recruitment of convalescent plasma donors, we created this flyer asking donors who've recovered from COVID-19 to reach out to our center either by emailing or by a phone number to see if they're eligible to donate convalescent plasma. So a big question is who can donate convalescent plasma? And the big group, of course, is donors with a positive COVID-19 result. And donors must feel well and healthy the day of donation. And their last date of symptoms should be at least 14 days before the donation. And just like any other blood donation, these donors have to meet the same criteria as a whole blood donor or a platelet donor. So once a donor contacts us after seeing this flyer, we get a copy of their test results to ensure that they did have COVID-19. And we ask a few screening questions that could potentially defer them. For example, travel is a big one. Have you been to a malaria endemic country in the last 3 months? And most people haven't because of travel restrictions and such. So we also ask questions. For example, if a woman of childbearing age presents to donate, we ask if they've had a history of a live birth. That way we can test them for what's called HLA antibodies. So once the donor is considered to be eligible to donate, we then schedule them for an appointment for plasma collection. So convalescent plasma collection is a little different than most of the donations we do at our center. So people typically think of a blood donation as getting a needle in your arm and having a bag of blood being collected, and then you're done and have your cookies and juice. Convalescent plasma collection is different in that instead of hooking you up just to a bag, we hook you up to a machine that takes the blood intermittently and centrifuges it. And so that way we only collect the convalescent plasma and return the red cells and the platelets. And the process takes about an hour. And donors who donate convalescent plasma can donate every 4 days. And then depending on the donor's total blood volume, they can donate anywhere on average about 3.5 doses per donation, which is really exciting. So when you look at once that plasma gets to the hospital, it is given to patients who are seriously ill with COVID-19 and they're hospitalized. And the dosage is typically around 1 unit, but some centers are, or some hospitals are transfusing more than 1 unit. There have been some questions about the efficacy of convalescent plasma. So I mentioned earlier that convalescent plasma has been used in other pandemics like the flu, I think of 1918, Ebola as well. And the data that they're providing out in the world shows that there are some promising results with convalescent plasma. So that's really exciting news for us. And what we're hearing anecdotally from physicians in our community is that convalescent plasma is helping patients walk outside or walk out of the hospital sooner when they didn't expect that person to live. So we are, working very hard to ensure that we have enough convalescent plasma for our community. And so if you are interested and you've had COVID-19, please reach out to our center to find out more about donating convalescent plasma. That being said, we are in a blood appeal. Because of everything with the pandemic, the way we collect blood has definitely changed. If you looked at September last year, the majority of our blood that was collected on mobile drives, such as churches, high schools, workplaces. But because of people working from home, schools not being in session, and the concern for people congregating together, we really had to change the way that we collect blood. And so unfortunately, we're collecting less blood, but the demand for blood is still very high. And so we are working very hard to ensure we have enough blood for our community. So I really appreciate the blood drive that you all have scheduled at the end of the month. And I will just take questions from here on out regarding convalescent plasma collection or blood donation in general. And thank you again for letting me present.
Thank you. Can you tell us about the antibody screening? I think that you're still doing that even throughout our blood drive, and how that works and what that means.
Correct. So we are screening all of our donors for COVID-19 antibodies. It's a test we started, I believe, in June or July. So every time a person donates, we test that donor for a number of things, including HIV, hepatitis, all the viral markers. And we're also doing a test for COVID antibodies. So if a person comes back as positive, we reach out to them to see if they're interested in donating convalescent plasma. But that's just one more piece of information I think people are really interested in having
So that they would have been asymptomatic and didn't know, and they're showing up now with the antibodies. And you also provide that data to the state as well?
Yes, we're providing it to the city and to the state as well. And there are some donors, when you talk to them, it turns out they had maybe like a cold or a headache, you know, and they think maybe that was the way they presented as having COVID-19. They didn't have the traditional symptoms of some shortness of breath or fever. There are so many different symptoms that patients have who are affected with COVID-19.
Okay, and if for people who have never given blood, can you kind of tell us, you always hear people say they're afraid, or you know, people say they get lightheaded. What are some of the things about, if you're donating blood, expect X, Y, and Z?
I would think, so a part of, whenever you donate blood, there's preparation that goes into the process before you even showing up to donate. And that includes getting a good night's sleep, making sure that you hydrate and have a good meal. And once you come in to donate, we'll register you, have you answer a bunch of questions, do a mini physical, and then you'll go to the donor bed to get drawn. And I mean, everybody responds differently to donation. I think doing the steps ahead of time, the hydration, the eating well, and the sleeping well, will help you have a good donation process. But you're right, people do have, there is a fear associated with blood donation because of the needle. So different ways of handling that include talking to the tech. That way you're not thinking about the donation process, but some other conversation like about movies. We've also had donors do what's called applied muscle tension exercises throughout the donation to help keep that blood going to their brain, because unfortunately some people do feel lightheaded after a donation, or in some rare cases will pass out. So one other thing that we tell donors, once you finish donating, to have your legs dangle from the donor bed to kind of, you know, get all that blood flowing, and then make sure you spend some time in the canteen or sitting down with a snack and a drink just to get that volume back.
Great. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. G?
Dr. G, how long does the antibody last, or is that just an unknown at this point in time?
That is a really great question. So the antibodies, there's been some data showing that they stick around for around 3 months, but everybody is different. Some people won't develop a high enough antibody level to even donate convalescent plasma. And then some people will have antibody out further than 3 months. So we're still learning more about how long the antibody levels persist.
Thank you.
Great. Any more questions?
Are you running, you said your supply, your donations are down. Are you running desperately short, or are you keeping up?
So we're not, honestly, we're not keeping up. We are, I believe, less than a 1-day supply of O positive. And it's just because the demand is just so high, and we cannot get enough donors to come and donate, because the model for blood collection has changed because of COVID. And I was hoping it was just isolated to us, right? Maybe we hadn't figured something out, but it's a trend that people are seeing nationally, because we depend so much on blood drives at people's workplaces. So it's very convenient. You're at work, just pop out to the blood drive, come back in, or high school students. And all of that is gone. And so we're having to get the donors to now drive in to one of our fixed site locations, and that may not be as convenient. Now they have their kids at home. So it's harder for people to come and donate. So we are at a critical level for our blood donations.
I have some questions.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
My question is, so you're testing for COVID antibodies. Does that mean you're also testing for COVID at that same time?
No, we're only testing for COVID antibodies, and it is a blood test. We're not at this time doing any PCR testing or antigen testing. And so,
So you
because
wouldn't-
it is an antibody test, there is some cross-reactivity with other coronaviruses. So there could be false positives potentially.
Okay, thank you.
And we had a question from Scott Bolton. What is the difference between T cells and antibodies?
So the T cells are part of your immune system that help fight infection. So you have your T cells, you have your B cells, you have different other like fighters of the immune system. And so T cells are typically involved with like the immediate process of helping kill the bugs. B cells are the cells that develop the antibodies. So those are really key in all of this, because what we're trying to do with plasma collection is collect that antibody to transfuse it to patients that need it.
Thank you. And with regard to, I know that there is universal donors and some that are not. And when you're in a short level like that, what are some of the blood types that you really are afraid of the level of supply?
That's a really great question. So right now, because we're not seeing enough donors come in, we urge all the donors to come in and donate. Typically what you'll see is O positive is typically the highest product in demand, as well as O negative. So we work very hard to ensure we have enough O positive and O negative donors coming in, because that blood can be used for really anybody of any blood type. But at this time, because of the critical need, really any donor, regardless of your blood type, please come and donate.
Great. And do we have any other questions for Dr. G?
Yeah, curiosity question on a blood type. What's the rarest blood type?
So O's and A's make the majority of the population. So I'm an O, right? I'm O positive. The smaller portion is going to be the AB donors. They're around 4% of the population. And then even more rare are AB negatives. And so this is really important, because AB negative donors and AB donors in general are great for plasma and platelet collections, because the AB platelets and plasma don't, let me backtrack that. So when you're an O, like myself, we have naturally occurring anti-A and anti-B in our plasma, right? So my blood can go to an A, it can go to a B, but because I have this anti-A, anti-B floating around, with plasma, you get concerned about that anti-A and anti-B, possibly in some rare cases, hemolyzing the red cells of a B patient, an A patient, or an AB. But with AB donors, they don't have anti-A or anti-B because they have A and B on their red cells. So plasma collections and platelet collections from these donors are important because they can go to any donor. And it's really important for babies especially, because the population is so small and there's no risk or harm to the baby if they get an AB platelet or plasma.
Thank you.
We got a question from someone about the whole mad cow thing and how that doesn't allow you to donate blood. Is there any more research on that to see if that is still going to be a stopper for people who traveled during the 1990s? I mean, that's a long time ago.
Yeah. There have been some recent changes. So because of everything related to COVID, the FDA changed some of the regulations to change eligibility. And people who, for example, a lot of people who military lived in Europe on bases weren't allowed to donate because they lived in France or Spain. But the FDA recently changed the guidelines. So those donors are now eligible to donate. So I would just urge who, I don't know who asked that question, just to reach out to us and see if you are now eligible. Because for a lot of people who couldn't donate because they lived in France, for example, for 6 months, may be able to donate now, depending on where you lived.
Thanks.
Tammy, I've got a quick question.
Yes.
One of my son-in-laws has this extremely rare disease, I guess, where he produces too much iron in his blood, and he has to donate blood every 3 weeks or he physically gets really sick. every time he has a doctor's note and he tries to do it when you guys are here in town, he gets put off and says, no, you can't, we can't do it because it's too soon. Is there anything that he can do?
Right, so I'm guessing you're probably talking about hemochromatosis.
I don't know the
Right.
name.
Okay, so it's there's a disease called hemochromatosis, and these people make too much iron, and part of the treatment or the therapy is phlebotomy. Because it is part of the treatment, the FDA views that type of phlebotomy different. It's not considered a voluntary donation, like you or me just going in to donate altruistically. It has to be considered a therapeutic. And in those cases, we require a prescription from the physician because they can donate a lot more often because they need it as part of their treatment. The only thing is, because we can't keep that blood, we charge the donor, or they charge the person to come in and get their blood drawn. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I didn't realize you couldn't keep the blood. I thought that you guys took the platelets and still were able to do that stuff.
No, so per regulations, because it's viewed differently. So whenever someone just donates regularly, it's considered more altruistic. But if you're donating because you have to, because it's part of a therapy or treatment, that's considered a therapeutic. And so we can't cross that over into the general inventory because and this is not a value statement at all, it's just how it's viewed generally. There's a concern that, well, I have to donate, so I may not answer the questions as honestly regarding my high risk activity, which is why it's considered a therapeutic and not a voluntary donation.
Okay, do we have any other questions?
Tammy, I have a question
Yeah.
for her. How do they determine who gets plasma? I know of someone from this area, San Antonio, and their plasma came from back east. So how do they determine who's eligible?
So things changed within the last month or so. So previously people could transfuse, so a physician at a hospital could transfuse convalescent plasma to their patient if they were hospitalized and had severe COVID. And it was all done either as an investigational new drug application or under the Mayo Expanded Access Protocol. I will say our program has really evolved. When we started out collecting convalescent plasma from donors, we had one donor in our program, one. And right now we have around 35 donors a day donating convalescent plasma. So in June and July, the demand for convalescent plasma was way outpacing the supply. And because our local patients needed it, we were able to get convalescent plasma from other centers that weren't having as much of a spike as us. So to answer your question, the first would be a clinical assessment of the patient if they're hospitalized, critically ill. Some hospitals or physicians also are enrolling their patients in trials for remdesivir or giving them dexamethasone. So it'd really be up to the physician. But regarding the convalescent plasma from back east, because the demand was so high, we didn't have enough to supply our local community with the plasma we were collecting here in San Antonio. So we had to bring it in from other places, especially New York.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you. Do we have any other questions for Dr. G? Dr. G, I just want to say thank you so much. I'm so looking forward to being able to do this. It's something that I really wanted to do for my mom. So I really appreciate it and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thanks, everyone.
Tammy,
Yeah.
can you share a little bit more about how this went with your mom? We know this first quarterly blood drive is in honor of her. So can you just give a little more info to everyone? And I'm not trying to make you cry because I know that this is really important to you, but everyone
About
wants
the date?
Yeah.
Well, guys, we scheduled this because it's my mother's birthday. So it's my mother's birthday for our very first blood drive that we're doing in honor of her. for the amount of, and to try to pay back the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center for all that they gave her while she was sick. So this is, I was trying to keep all that mushy stuff out of that, but there goes Christy. And anyway, so yes, it would mean a lot to me if you would make your appointments and we fill up that 30 slots that we have to fill, and that would be great. So thanks, Christy. Okay.
We want to fill them all. So, and if you can't donate yourself, you know someone who's healthy who could, send them over. Give them the link so they can register. We want to fill all, I think there's 30 slots, right?
Yes, 30 slots.
Fill them up.
Okay, can we just go on to the Rotary website and do that, sign up?
In the email I sent the club yesterday is the link. You go on to that link onto the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center, and they have appointments by times. You'll notice because of the safety concerns during COVID, we're making appointments so that we can be properly social distanced. It will be at Kerrville Motors, and it will be the Blood Mobile. So there won't be a large gathering of people anywhere. You come at your appointment and you leave right after, and someone comes in, you know, every 15 to 20 minutes. So I think it's going to work out really well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I have a couple things that I want to do before we get to the families in Rotary. One, Jeff Tallarico, I understand that we have a visiting Rotarian with us.
We do. My uncle, all the way from Mesquite, Nevada, Rick Tuttle, if you see him on there, he is a Rotarian there.
Well, Rick, welcome.
I logged in and saw him and went, oh my gosh. Him and Christy, he was very interested in the Labor Day walk and what we did. So I hooked him and Christy up, and they've been talking about it.
Oh, how fun. Well, welcome, Rick. And I have some sad news for all of us, but I'm going to let Alan Massey tell us a little bit about that. Alan?
Well, thank you, Tammy. It's sad, but nothing like serious sad compared to some situations. I have moved to Grapevine, Texas. I'm coming to you guys from, I guess all of us can be anywhere, but I happen to be now living about 10 miles west of DFW Airport. And kind of, I guess people move or do things under cover of darkness. Well, I moved under cover of COVID-19. I guess it's like this is the first time I've said goodbye to anybody. It's kind of strange, with this deal, at least face to face anyway. So it was a move we planned to make late this year related to being closer to kids and more importantly, grandkids. And but the school started up here with only offering the at-home internet version, and our son-in-law was getting the kind of the opposite pressure to get to work, so come to work. So anyway, we were asked to be here ASAP by the 17th of August, and so anyway, we packed up in a hurry and moved up here. And so anyway, I asked Tammy if I could say goodbye. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Many friends, been a wonderful experience to be in the Rotary Club. So anyway, it's something I miss. It's interesting with the Zoom deal, still able to say, be part of it from here. So anyway, that's it. Thanks.
Well, thank you. We're going to miss you. How long have you been in this club, Alan?
I think I joined in '93, so it's 27 years. And been a big part of my life, really, like probably most of us. The year of 07, 08, I was president and, got to go to PETS and the International Convention in Salt Lake City. So yeah, it was, it's been a real, great thing to be part of. It's been helped me in my life. It just felt good to be part of it.
Well, I can tell from my years on the board that whenever we needed help, Alan was one of the first ones to stand up. You could always count on him, and we're just really going to miss that, but we're going to miss seeing your face and your support of the club.
Alan, be sure to check with Grapevine and see if they have a Rotary Club up there.
I will, Carol. Thank you.
Yeah, do, because they're very easy to transfer now from one to the other.
Okay. Yeah, I will. You know, with the COVID deal, I just haven't pushed it yet, but I will. Yeah.
Good, good, good.
Well, and Alan, you're staying on our mailing list because the board voted at our last meeting to make you an honorary member of this club. So
Oh,
you will continue to receive emails and information from this club so you know what we're doing.
Well, that's, you know, it's
Great.
heartwarming. I mean, it really is. I appreciate that. It's kind of a shocker. I was like, okay, I guess I'm one of the old guys, and I guess I hung around long enough to get there. So, but it's really nice for you to do that, because I will keep up with you guys.
Good, good, good.
Yeah,
Deserved.
I mean, a little bit like Rick Cunningham. You never know. I mean, I may be back in Kerrville at some point. You never know. So.
Well, we'll keep you on the list, because if we bring back the fish fry, you can send us money.
We'll miss you, Alan, but I'm all for living near grandkids. It's just
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, great. Thanks. Are you doing that?
Yes, all 6 live here in Kerrville.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
Al, what are you doing with your business? Are you working from home up there?
Yeah, that's kind of the other deal with the COVID thing. I was working part-time last year and this year, and then I, with the COVID deal, started working more intensely remotely. And so, yeah, that just meant I could be anywhere, basically, as long as you got internet. And yeah, a few weeks into that, they said, can we have your office? And I said, well, when this COVID deal slows down, I think I'll be back. But it didn't happen. So
All right.
anyway, here I am.
Me
Great.
too, I'm at the beach.
How about that?
Thanks so much. Okay, guys. Stephanie, do you have a Families in Rotary announcement for us for this week?
I do. Heard Lucy Wilkie broke her other ankle
Oh,
and
no.
had
That's
surgery
right.
today.
Yes.
And she broke it in Colorado, which is where she broke it last time. So she should stay out of Colorado.
Yes. Well, I'll say prayers for her for quick healing. Okay. I wanted to thank Todd. Some of y'all, I thanked him earlier, but we had a good turnout. Not a good turnout. There were only 5 people that turned out for trash pickup, but they did a lot of good work, and I wanted to say thank you to each of them while we were in our regular club meeting. So thank you very much, Todd, for that.
Perfect. No, thank y'all. We sure appreciate it. I appreciate the folks that turned out, and I know we had our hands full, and I know I'll miss somebody here, but I'll read off the folks that showed up for that real quick. We had Jimmy Hutto, we had Tim Campbell, and we had John Forrester and his other half, and we had Bill Tucker, and of course myself. So we do appreciate it. Thank y'all very much.
Thank y'all all very much. And I want to let you know that the board and last week we talked about possibly meeting in person again, resuming that. I'm going to send out a survey. I'd like to hear from you. I want to let you know that I've talked to the Croc Center, and we are going to adjust the room. If we do go back to meeting in person, we can adjust the room to where we're socially distanced with almost the same amount of people that showed up, but I anticipate less people will want to come. We will be able to jointly Zoom so that you can choose to be there remotely or in person. The food will be served buffet style, but not where we go up and serve ourselves. It'll be a cafeteria style where there's one individual person serving each plate, with gloves and all that, so it's safe. They've done this for some meetings there, some Republican club meetings and things, and they said it's worked out really well. And we will get rid of part of the stage so that we can have more tables spread out. So these are the things we're thinking about. When I send that survey in, please think of those things when you respond. And now I think I'd like to turn this over to David. We're going to go into breakout sessions again. We think that that's our way of letting people interact. I think that's what people are missing in our club. And we're going to talk about a question. Now, I may need Christy to confirm this or clarify this question, because this is a question that Christy gave me for us to discuss. Share your personal greatest challenge and wonderful rainbow moment during COVID pandemic. I don't understand rainbow moment, Christy. So could you tell us that before we go on our breakout sessions?
Well, it's the things that we found out by being sequestered or not being able to travel or not being able to see what have we gained from it. There are some things that I'm hearing from people in terms of their family and their time that they've taken some advantage of this stuff.
So some of the positives that may have come out of the
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, David, do you want to take us into our breakout rooms?
Okay, so right now, if we break into 8 rooms, we'll have 4 to 5 participants per room. Does that sound reasonable, or do we want fewer rooms?
Sounds good.
Okay, so here we go. And let me...
And don't forget we have wine, so don't.
It's going to be 10 minutes, guys. You should have a countdown timer that comes up at 60 seconds ahead of time. And hopefully it works this time, okay? So here we go.
Hey, Bob, unmute yourself. Scott, do you have a microphone? Bob?
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
Bob. Hi, Bob. Look who we got the best breakout room. Look at this.
I like that a lot.
I like it too. Scott, can you hear us? No mic in office. Yes, he can hear us. Okay, so we're going to get messages from him. So, Bob, what's your greatest challenge and what's your greatest joy because of COVID?
My biggest challenge is taking care of Shirley.
Is it?
She has stage 4. She has stage 4 lung cancer, and she's on Keytruda for that and has done very, very well. But I haven't been physically to the office since April, because I think the smartest thing that I can do for her is not to be out and about. Now, the blessing is that thanks to technology, I am wired to the office from here, and I'm able to answer phone calls, emails. People just don't know I'm sitting here in my shorts. So, you know, it's worked fine. But the greatest thing I can do for Shirley is to be smart.
Yeah.
And so we've basically been cloistered, but she hadn't barked at me yet, so life is good.
Well, my prayers are with you, Bob. That's a tough thing to go through. Yeah, I think the other blessing is that you're there with her. That's a blessing for her because she's seeing more of you. And I think that's a real lovely, nice thing. Okay, now let's see what Scott has said here. Trying to communicate. Okay, he has no mic in his office, but here's what he's saying. Oh, David Rittenhouse is coming to join us. Scott says he's trying to communicate. Oh, you're muted, David. Scott says he's trying to communicate with fearful clients that have been isolated. His positive is that he made bread and soap and a chicken coop with the kids. So like a lot of us, I think that, you know, I hear about all these people who are trying to homeschool their kids, but the upside of that, the challenge is homeschooling. The upside of that is they're spending a lot more time with their kids at this time. So I'm glad Scott made bread. I love bread. You could bring some over. That would be absolutely awesome. I'd love homemade bread. All right, David, what's your challenge? What's your blessing?
Well, the bad thing is, of course, that I can't really get out to see my grandkids in Richmond, Virginia and Atlanta, Georgia. But we do a fair amount of Skyping and things like that. We've joined birthday parties for extended Skype sessions, stuff like that, whereas we would normally be there. And I think the new grandchild, which is a newborn, probably wonders who are those people that show up on the television screen. But Now, what I've been doing is I've been trying to do things, that are different that I otherwise wouldn't be doing because now I have more time available. I've been doing a lot of hiking.
That's good. And
I've been
fishing.
doing, I've done some backpacking. I've done some solo overnight backpacking and a lot of fishing, like you said, Christy. So,
Yeah,
and
you told me
Christy,
about the fishing.
before we sign off, you and I need to talk to figure out which one of us is able to download.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk
It
about
should
that.
be only you can can download it because you started it.
Well, and I'll do the one for this week. It looks like whenever I log in, I'll be able to do that and just record it and
So you
send
want
it
to
over.
just do it then?
Yep,
Okay.
I'll just do it
Okay.
whenever I can be in, because I'm gonna start missing meetings because of district governor stuff.
Next
Now,
week I'm not here.
here's
Next week
something.
I'm backpacking.
Right. So again, something from Scott, because I don't know if y'all can see this, but I certainly can. He says he's already been homeschooling, and now there's a whole bunch of other people homeschooling, so he is helping them. So he's putting some of his skills and his experience to work for other people. That's a wonderful thing, Scott. I mean, that's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go real quick. We got 4 minutes left. Basically, my biggest challenge is I can't do what my job is about. My whole job is about going out and talking to groups of people about organ donation, and I can't do anything with it. So that's been my challenge, is that I'm trying to stay connected to my volunteers. I have a lot of volunteers who are transplant recipients and or living donors. So I've been trying to stay in contact with them, but basically I'm kind of stalled in the water, if you will. I can't really do anything to go out and talk. I'm scheduling some Zoom things to talk to people, but it's just not quite the same as being in person with people. So that's been my thing. Now, the blessing is that because I haven't been working as much, I am spending a lot of time with Rotary. And but I also have carved out, I've gone back twice a week and I'm horseback riding again. And I love to horseback ride. I grew up around horses and I love it, love it, love it. So I've actually put it back in my schedule to do that a couple mornings a week. So I think when all this is over or better, and we can get together, I'm probably going to go. I may actually partly retire and work organ donation, maybe not on a full-time basis, more quarter time or 1/3 time, if you will. And then I will be just busy with Rotary through the end of my term, which is the fall of 2020. And I'm here to tell you right now, I'm going to probably tag a bunch of people in my club because my goal is to do the district conference here in Kerrville and to use the Arcadia Theater to do it.
Good.
So that's my goal. That's my goal. Scott, anything else you want to add? I'm looking here at what you're typing. He's typing, Bob. He's a busy typist. I'm so glad we're doing, I don't know how the rest of y'all feel, but I'm so glad we're doing events still and still finding ways to make it work. Oh, Scott says he attended a district conference in Houston before he moved here to Kerrville. So yay. Yeah, I'm hoping a bunch of our club members will take advantage of the fact that we're going to try and do it in Kerrville. They don't have to pay for overnight accommodations, and they'll come out for the district conference. That would be so wonderful. That would be wonderful. So what else, Bob? We're almost done here.
Well, I applaud you for wanting to host the conference because we have not done it in forever. And people love to come to Kerrville, and we've got the right kind of facilities to take care of that. So I really applaud your dedication to get that done. It'll be great.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to call on our club to not only participate, but maybe help with things like registration and greeting people and those kinds of things. I will tell you that I am going to try and run it on a Thursday all day and half a day Friday, with the idea that that way if people need to get back to their families for the weekend, they can, but they might choose to stay in Kerrville and do some stuff in Kerrville. Who knows? Maybe they'll go golfing, those who like to golf, or they'll go to see Arcadia live. There'll be a performance probably at the Arcadia Friday night. They'll go do that. So I'm going to offer them lots of options. They could do a wine. We can set up some wine tours for Friday afternoon after the conference. But I just like to get them here. You could let them and show off our city a little bit, and that's the plan. So we have a minute. We have 1 minute. Anybody else have something to add here? It will automatically take us back to the group here in 30 seconds, or you can click the thing, Bob, and you can disappear and go right back into the breakout room.
Yeah.
I'll see you on the other side of this magic carpet ride.
Perfect.
She said with enough training, all things are possible. And I said, halfway.
We're all coming
I
back.
do not know what happened to the recording. I don't see that we're still recording.
It
Yes,
shows
we
it on
are.
mine.
It's recording.
Does
It
show
says it on
now?
mine,
It
too.
does now on mine. I don't know. I've been having trouble with the recording button for some reason. It's popping in and out on me.
Woo, here they come. Here they come.
They're
You're
coming
mute.
back.
Yeah,
You're
look at that.
mute,
It works. It
Tammy.
works. It works.
Look at Ashley being all Hollywood out there.
Tammy, when you come back in, it mutes you, so you need to unmute.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Great job,
Tammy.
David. That was awesome.
It was. It worked.
Yeah.
Well, I jumped from session to session. I kind of enjoyed that. I didn't get to
Oh,
everything.
that's not fair.
You never came to ours, David.
No, that's
Well, I
not
didn't want to come. You.
choosy.
Okay, so I have to say that we have done our very first breakout session. I thought ours went really well, and the smoothness, David's smoothness of getting us in there and back worked really well. So for Zoomers, we'll be able to do that each week, and it gives us that little bit of FaceTime. This was Christy's idea to try, and I was a little nervous, but it gives us that FaceTime that we miss. Yeah, so that's really good. Okay, I have a wine to give away, and I have these are the 3 left, and we have to get rid of these before I get more, so somebody's gonna have to take them, but
Ugh.
I have a Moscato, I have a Sangria, and I have a Rosé. All of these apparently are not the hot ticket items, so.
Rosé all day.
Tim Kronwalgi told me he would help me get good wine for the next one.
Thank you, Tim.
He knows a thing or two about that.
Okay, so
Self-sacrifice.
yes, so the first person has to have their pin on. I think I see it actually. I don't know, but Stockton, do you have?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so of these 3 non-attractive wines, apparently, which one would you like?
Sangria.
Sangria, you got it. Where can I get that?
Stockton, that's Sacramento Sangria.
Okay, cool. So what'd you say, Tammy?
How can I get this to you?
I can come pick it up at Hill Country Community Journal.
Okay, great. It'll be here for you. And I have to tell you, people, that, you know, one of the things that people don't know, and I'm going to start doing, is the next person that was drawn was Denise Lemillier, and then Judy Eichner, and then Ken Azel, and then Tom Martin. So they didn't get wine because you had your pin on. Good job.
Besides, Denise left. She was in our small group, but she left.
Oh, well, but you had your pins on this.
Yes.
Hey, I saw this on Facebook. It said that there's a self-test for COVID. Pour yourself a glass of wine. If you smell it and you can smell it, you don't have COVID. If you taste it and you can taste it, you don't have COVID. But it says you must try this at least 12 times a day.
Oh,
Love it.
oh, how cute. I don't think I have anything for us. We have had some busy things going. I'm really excited, even though we're quarantined, we're busy, we're people of action, we are. I also want to let you know that I'm going to be sending out, one, a survey about meeting in person, but two, we've been invited to join a joint meeting with our district governor, Xavier Tolson, this Saturday. It'll be via Zoom. It's at 11:30. I will send you the Zoom link. And if you can tune in with him, it'll be joint with the Morning Rotary Club. And hear what he has to say. He is dynamic. He is really exciting. I love him. And I think that you'll be excited to meet him and hear a little bit from him. So that Zoom link and that invitation will be to that meeting. I'll send in this email this afternoon along with the survey. So I don't have anything else. Does anybody have anything else good for the good of the club to say, share? No?
I just wanted to say thank you for allowing me to join you, and it was interesting. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for joining. We always like to have visitors. But you need to tell us your secrets about Jeff, though. That's really
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Well, I hopefully going to be coming through that area in May on my way back east. So if Jeff puts up with us for a few days, I might actually join a meeting in person if you are.
Absolutely.
I can always give you stories then.
That would be
Maybe
great.
our guest speaker.
We look forward to it.
You know, for a small fee, I will let him do that. Share all my secrets. Donate it to the club, of course.
Oh, how cute. Okay. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say, I did send out an in our email, but your board of directors was invited to participate in Christmas decorations for the city. George Eichner's Kerrville Christmas Lighting Corporation is increasing the amount because, in his words, that in this yucky year, it would be something fun and inspiring for the community. And I was really excited to hear about that. So was your board. So our club will be buying 2 7-feet tall Christmas ornaments, gold trees that will be installed on poles down Sidney Baker. Right now, 500 feet apart. I don't know if George is still here.
Yeah, he's there.
Okay.
He's here.
Yes, George. So I don't.
He just called himself Judy.
Oh well.
Come
Either way.
on.
Yeah, hey, let me thank you for that. And I realize you're not supposed to ask for money at a Rotary Club, but if you want to go by Roy Thompson's bank, you can make a donation to the Christmas lights. And we have to have our order in by next Friday in order to have them delivered by mid-November. And K-Pup's going to put them up for us for free gratis. So if you see
Where's that bank at?
Thank you much.
There should be a $5 charge for that.
Are they open?
It's on G Street and Sidney Baker.
Yeah, I know, but do you have to have an appointment?
Oh, just go through the drive-through, put it in an envelope and say, give this to Roy for the Rotary.
Yeah, Kerrville Christmas Lighting Corporation.
Well, anyway, we were excited to do it, and I'm Christmas. I'm the girl that watches Hallmark Christmas movies in October, so I'm excited to get
Yay.
to do it.
Yeah, what
Okay,
I'll do, I'll make a $5 donation to the Christmas Light Corporation in honor of Rotary. How's that? As my dues.
There you go.
That's good, George.
Gosh,
Cheapskate.
generous.
$5.
Well,
Great announcement.
Yes, your board of directors is working hard for you. We have volunteers and committees working hard. We are definitely people of action, and thank you each so much. I hope that you will sign up for our blood drive or sign up for one of our upcoming service projects.
Already did, 12:30.
So if you'll join me in the 4-way test, we can adjourn this meeting right on time. Yay. Okay, of the things
we think
they do.
Hey, or
The truth, fair to all
concerned, will it
good, will it better friendships, will it be beneficial to all.
concerned. Bye, everybody.
Have a great week.
Christy, I'm ending the meeting. You want to stick here just a second? Christy, you and I stick here.
Here's my.
Go down and make sure that you're able to capture the recording, Christy.
Well, yeah, it's still recording, so I just have to leave and it'll stop. So I'm going to leave, David.
Actually, if you press on record, you can press record on this computer.